Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwantner and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have the pleasure of meeting with Colleen Stanley, and she is the author of a wonderful book that deals with emotional intelligence in sales. Welcome, Colleen.
Thank you for having me.
Why did you write this book?
Well, you know, we actually had a couple colleagues that teach emotional intelligence in the leadership world, Marty Lassen and Scott Helford. And the more we got talking about their work, they kept saying to me, why aren't you guys incorporating this into your consultative sales training? So when I started studying it, something I realized is that it was almost what I call the bridge between the knowing and doing gap. So we teach hard skills, we teach a lot of tactical sales training skills, and I would see sales reps in the classroom and they just execute these beautiful role plays. They had the talk tracks down, they were comfortable. And then you'd see them in a real selling situation with maybe a tougher prospect, and it appeared that all those skills went out the door. And so you're sitting there going, well, they had it in the classroom. So what I started realizing is that emotions started running that meeting, not tactical selling skills, good communication skills, or influence skills. So that was the main reason we brought it in, is when you're taking a look at diagnosing performance challenges, it's good to look at both the soft skills, emotional intelligence skills, as well as the hard skills.
Are you saying that the drive to exercise good skills is being blocked by negative emotions?
You know, it even goes deeper than that. It's almost like, for many years, as you've probably heard this, sales is an art and a science.
Right.
Well, we like to contend now it's an art in the neuroscience, because here's what can happen. Let's say you're that tough prospect, and you know, you're sitting there like this, you're checking your BlackBerry, your smartphone, you're giving those short grunt answers, and what happens is there is a physiological reaction that starts happening in your body.
Right.
So there's a part of your brain, here's the neuroscience, called the amygdala, and it's in a group of almond-shaped cluster right above the brainstem. And it has a purpose, and its purpose is to keep you safe. So all stimuli coming into the brain quickly runs through the amygdala. Well, if it sees something as dangerous, you, the prospect, it starts sending you into what we call fight or flight response.
Right.
So what starts happening is blood starts leaving your brain, your body shoots off adrenaline, all right, cortisol starts getting shot off, and basically you're left with the functioning of a monkey. And that's why you can't execute any of those great selling skills, influence skills that you learned in the classroom, online, read about in a book. So it's actually a documented phenomenon.
So it's the same with a golf swing, because when we screw up our golf swing, it is because we use too much aggression to overcompensate from the fear of hitting a bad shot.
Right.
So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Absolutely. Well, and you mentioned aggression. So, you know, for some reps, everybody's heard this. They've been trained on it. There's thousands of books out there. Talk less, okay, listen more. The cute saying, God gave you two ears, one mouth for a reason. But here's what happens. When you get into a fight or flight situation, for some people, they actually start fighting with the prospect, and they start doing that product up, or they're going to let you know, Mr. Prospect, I know just as much as you. So is that a hard selling skill challenge, or is that a soft skill challenge? And I guess, you know, I contend it's always a combination of both. In the EQ world, we call it the IQ and the EQ.
So what do you recommend that salespeople do when sort of fear narrows their field of vision, and they're just focused on one thing instead of relaxing and seeing everything?
Right. Well, you know, the first thing is, and this is not a new statement, is awareness. Now, here's what nobody watching the video is going to want to hear, is that you need to get some downtime. And nobody's getting downtime today. You know, we live in this highly connected world. Everybody's checking BlackBerries, emails, smartphones, and this. And really in our desire to be connected, we're probably getting more disconnected. And it's only in the downtime that you can sit there and analyze, how did I show up yesterday? What trigger, and that's a term we use in the training, what trigger event showed up that caused me to respond in this goofy manner?
It's a wonderful idea to not to move forward until you have mastered the past, or at least become aware of what happened in the past.
Yes, mastered the past. And what I've seen one too many times, and I'm sure you have as well, a salesperson will get done with the meeting. You know, sometimes they have the genius attack then. They go, oh, why didn't I say this? Or, you know, why didn't I say that? but they don't take time to reflect and say, what should I have said? And what was it about that prospect that got me emotionally charged, positively or negatively?
Right.
Because sometimes positively, you start presenting too soon because you actually think you have the
And that's what I like
opportunity.
about the book, where you write about using your emotional awareness to improve your emotional intelligence.
Absolutely, that's the foundational skill. So
Well,
no
thank you so
awareness.
much. We are going to continue our conversation tomorrow, where we talk about the soft skills that are so necessary to win in sales.